The name says it all. It's a competition to determine the most powerful and toughest athlete on the planet. It's the world's strongest man. 10 men have battled their way through the heaviest and most punishing qualifying round ever staged to compete for the title. But just one will leave South Africa as the champion. Will Zydrunas Savickas, the winner a year ago, add a second trophy to an already legendary career? Will Mikhail Toplayev win the crown in his first trip to the biggest show in strength athletics? Will Derek Poundstone, haunted by a mistake in 2008, find vindication 2 years later? Or will Brian Shaw unleash his unlimited potential and begin a long reign over the sport? The 33rd edition of the Metrics World's Strongest Man Final is next. Welcome to the World's Strongest Man Final, Sun City. South Africa's most spectacular resort is the fitting host of the ultimate test of strength. I'm Todd Harris, along with a pair of champions, Phil Pfister and Bill Kazmaier. The first of 6 events that will lead to the crowning of a champion is the loading race.
We call it a race, but it is more of a struggle, as athletes must carry 264-pound sacks through the water to a platform 10 meters away.
While in the first heat, it'll be America's Travis Ortmeyer making his 3rd straight appearance in the final. This is Terry Hollins of England. He is in his 5th final and has to be considered a dark horse for the title.
An awesome matchup here, Todd.
Ready?
Both guys just so much potential. This is really where you make your time, is running out to the platform and grabbing the sack. Each guy can only go so fast through the water with the sack, so you want to race back every time to shave seconds from your overall performance.
Wow, that's 264 pounds. And Phil, how much energy does that suck out of your legs going through the water?
It's impossible. This is so mind-blowing how tough this event really is. Until you actually attempt it, there's really no way to appreciate it.
So Travis Ortmeyer, the American, has a slight lead over his counterpart right now. That is big Terry Hollins of England. Remember, he's 6'6", 397 pounds, and it's Ortmeyer first on to the 3rd and final sack, weighing 264 pounds.
Both of these guys are always so capable. Travis really bringing the intensity here.
And he stops the clock at 58.72 seconds. Very impressive.
Hollins struggling on. Why did he just drop? I don't understand this. Maybe he's trying to protect his bicep. He just had surgery 12 weeks ago, but a big surprise here.
Well, he's currently in 2nd place in the loading race. Meanwhile, Travis Ortmeyer, the American, has put up the time to beat, 58.72. Neighboring the Sun City Resort is the 150-acre Pilanesberg National Park, which has some of the most spectacular vistas and diverse wildlife found anywhere on the African continent. Welcome to the 33rd edition of the Metrics World's Strongest Man Final. Alongside 2006 champion Phil Pfister, I'm Todd Harris. Well, 10 men have proven themselves worthy of competing for the most prestigious trophy in the sport. But only one man can leave Sun City as the champion. And Phil, until he's beaten, Zydrunas Savickas of Lithuania has to be considered the favorite.
That's right. In a field full of Superman, this guy has proven that no superlative is inappropriate for him. Zydrunas Savickas, his power is off the charts. However, we did see a quadriceps injury for him in the squat lift from the qualifying rounds. He may be mere mortal after all.
Yeah, but even that injury didn't slow Zydrunas down in the qualifying round. It will be a tall task, but there are several athletes in the final that are capable of keeping Zydrunas from getting his 2nd title.
That's right. At the top of that list has got to be the biggest guy that we've ever seen here. We know he's strong. He devastated his qualifying round. Big Brian Shaw from Colorado. You've got to believe that this guy has the hunger, will, resolve, determination, and grit to go all the way to the top of the podium one day. And, of course, there's Mikhail Toplayev. This personable Russian may have the Olympic lifting background and strength to get him through the biggest challenges he's ever faced in his athletic career.
And you can't forget 2 athletes who have had podium finishes before. American Derek Poundstone and from England, Terry Hollins. All right, before we get back to the action, let's introduce you to all 10 of our finalists here at the Metrics World's Strongest Man.
Terry Hollins, England.
Travis Ortmeyer,
USA. Stefan Sölvi Petersson, Iceland.
Jason Bergman, USA.
Ervin Katona, Serbia.
Brian Shaw,
USA. Mikhail Kokleaev, Russia.
Nick Best, USA.
Derek Poundstone, USA.
Zydrunas Savickas, Lithuania.
And we're back at the Valley of the Waves for the conclusion of the loading race, the opening event in the World's Strongest Man final. The big Russian, Mikhail Kokleaev, a rookie here, but a veteran in strength athletics. And he'll be going head-to-head with America's Derek Poundstone, the police officer from Connecticut.
This should be an awesome race.
Now, the time to beat in the loading race is 3 sacks in 58.72 seconds, put up by the Texan Travis Ortmeyer.
Ready! Man, I love seeing Poundstone get those knees up and sprint and hop, doing whatever he can to get to the sacks as fast as possible.
264 pounds each sack weighs. There's 3 of them.
Not sure about Derek's hand placement on those sacks, though. He made it all the way there, but looked like it was slipping just a little bit. I love the way he's hopping back, getting to the second sack as fast as possible. Kokleaev a little more paced, a little more conservative strategy and approach, and a very different technique than Derek's.
Mikhail Kokleaev going for the shoulder technique, and that may be paying off for him.
Yeah, Derek really struggling with the grip, struggling to position the sack where he can pop it up there. Not the best hand placement.
So both men are on to the final sack, 264 pounds, the mark to beat 58.72. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to beat that. But remember, points are at a premium here at the World's Strongest Man final, so high placement is key.
This is kind of like the turtle in the hare. Derek started out so fast. Kokleaev finishing strong, Todd.
Kokleaev for the time of 108.34, so that will put him currently into second place. Meanwhile, Derek Poundstone unable to finish. He'll go into 5th place for the time being. 2 sacks, 48.82 seconds.
Kokleaev, he's got to be happy about that. Not nearly as fast as Ortmeyer, but a steady, rock-solid, very strategically sound technique and pace. Poundstone, on the other hand, he's going to have to go back to the drawing board and rethink technique and strategy when it comes to these slippery, wet, awkward sandbags.
He is Zydrunas Savickas, the defending champion at 6'3", 375 pounds. The USA's Brian Shaw finished 3rd a year ago in Malta. And now the 6'8", 405-pound former college basketball player wants to take a couple steps up the podium. And, of course, the man looking on, Travis Ortmeyer, he's hoping his time of 3 sacks in 58.72 seconds will withstand a challenge from these big fellas.
Boy, and you can just cut the energy in the air right here. A lot of tension, a lot of anticipation to see how these boys are going to fare against one another.
Well, the talk has been that Brian Shaw is certainly the heir apparent. He has the skills, he has the abilities, makes quick work of the first bag, 264 pounds.
Doing his best to get to the second one as fast as possible. That's where you really pick up the good times.
Zydrunas Savickas, though, has the experience and already has 1 title, looking for a 2nd title of World's Strongest Man.
Each of them have their own specific technique for carrying the sack. Shaw comes in at the end like a couple of hooks clamping the bag. Zydrunas bear hugging it. Shaw really locking the bag in high above his hips, carrying it in tight.
Well, this is going to be close, 58.72 put up by Ortmeyer. And Brian Shaw is right there.
Oh, my gosh, I can't believe that.
So he's got to replace the bag, and I think he thought he was done.
And Zydrunas is down.
So 108.89 after Brian Shaw was so close to taking the win. Meanwhile, Zydrunas Savickas, he'll have to settle for 6th place.
Shaw, he lost about 13 valuable seconds there. If he could have been just a little bit more conservative and pushed the bag all the way onto the platform, You know, these guys are under a lot of pressure to get their hands off the bag as soon as possible to make the clock stop.
Brian, you were so close to victory. Tell us what happened in that third sack.
Well, I was coming in and, you know, maybe I should have pushed the first two up a little bit more, but I could have swore it was on. And, you know, the event time stops when you get your hands off the bag. So that's what I was trying to do, and I'm not happy about that, but just got to step up on the next event. That's all. I mean, this is done, and it's out of my mind now. So I got to focus on the next thing and go after that. So we'll see. I'm all right. I'm all right.
Best of luck.
Thanks, Cass.
Travis Ortmeyer isn't going to make any apologies about the circumstances. He's just happy to claim the victory. Ortmeyer's time of 58.72 was the fastest of the four men that completed all three sacks. Kukliaev was second. Shaw had to settle for third. Irvin Katona was fourth, and the big surprise, Savickas ended up sixth. Poundstone finished in ninth. We'll return with one of our signature events.
People like cactus because it's not like a huge airplane. They don't really understand the weight, and they see us throwing cactus. You know, they understand that it takes a lot of effort.
It's just something that catches your eye and you're like, wow, look at that. You know, it's just kind of crazy and, you know, kind of cool. And
it's fun to watch. It's colorful, it's loud, it's fast-paced.
I think it's fun for everybody.
Welcome back to the Valley of the Waves in Sun City, South Africa, as the Metrics World's Strongest Man final moves to the second of 6 unique feats of strength, the keg toss.
Todd, this is one of my favorites. The athletes have to throw 8 progressively heavier kegs over a 16-foot wall. See who can get the most over and who can do it the fastest. A pretty simple event that the crowds and the athletes love.
From Iceland, Stefan Solvi.
Well, this is Stefan Solvi Peterson, one of the happiest athletes to qualify for the final, the 24-year-old from Iceland. And he is his nation's first finalist since 1999.
Really fun to watch this guy in this event, Todd.
A nice trajectory on those first 2 kegs. They weigh 37.5 pounds. Now he's on to the second set. Those are 44-pounders. Still no problems. 48.5 pounds. Now he's on to the final 2. They weigh 53 pounds. And his first sign of problems.
Takes a lot of power to get these things over, but just as important is the technique, establishing the right trajectory.
And he's done it. A great time for Stefan Solvi Peterson, 36.53 seconds.
Iceland can be really proud of that. It's hard to believe that he got such a great time when you stop and realize he had to throw the 7th keg twice, but he quickly recovered his form and made all 8 barrels go over.
This is American Derek Poundstone. He is in 9th place. Now, it's just after one event, but Phil, you know from past experiences, you cannot dig yourself a hole when you're competing against the world's best.
Very few athletes can ever dig themselves out from being this far back.
So Poundstone's going to need a huge performance there, and he makes quick work of those first 2 kegs that weigh 37.5 pounds. Now he's on to the next set. Those are 44-pounders.
He has so much power, Todd.
No problem at 48.5. The final kegs, 53 pounds apiece. And like Stefan Solvi Peterson, he misses at number 7.
I'm not sure why he took a break and kind of reset. He's kind of gotten out of the groove here. Maybe respecting those last 2 kegs a little too much.
So he gets the first 53-pounder over.
Todd, he's got to find his form again. He's got the power. Everybody knows that. This is one of the most powerful strongmen in the world. But he's got to make that keg go over the wall.
And unfortunately for Derek Poundstone, it's just not happening. He'll be credited with 7 kegs in a time of 33.73 seconds, currently in 2nd place.
Ooh, that's going to be a tough hole to dig out of, Todd. He was so great on those first 6 kegs, had awesome form. They were sailing high over the wall, and then it all just kind of fell apart.
Well, that'll take us to Zydrunas Savickas, the champion from a year ago. The Lithuanian is in 6th place after one event, which isn't exactly the way he planned his title offense to begin.
This is another guy who never has a shortage of power.
Behind the line. Ready?
And like the other competitors, look at this. Absolutely tosses the 37.5-pound kegs. Those are 44-pounders.
Talk about confidence. He's not even checking to make sure they go over. He's just ripping them and grabbing them as fast as he can go.
These are the final two, 53 pounds. And it's over. 21.19 seconds for the defending champion.
He just cut the previous leader's time almost in half. That's going to be tough to beat.
Zydrunas Savickas treated those 8 kegs with absolute disdain. Now that the defending champion has set the bar in the keg toss, it's time for others to step up. Khalid, Ortmeyer, and Shaw when we return to Sun City, South Africa. Sun City, an oasis amid trees and grasslands, the home of the 33rd edition of the Metrics World's Strongest Man Final. We're back at the Valley of the Waves for the conclusion of one of the all-time classic events, the keg toss. With 3 athletes still to go, it's Zydrunas Savickas of Lithuania leading the way. He hoisted all 8 kegs up and over the wall in an unbelievable time of 21.19 seconds. Stefan Solvi Peterson of Iceland is in second. Serbian Katona is in third.
Brian Shaw.
And this is the big American Brian Shaw out of Colorado. He's in third place in the overall standings after that first event. By all rights, he should have won it, but remember, he dropped the sack and had to reset it. And at 6'8" and 405 pounds, Phil, he's got plenty of power.
It just goes back to the fact that strongman is a big guy's sport, and there's none bigger than the Big Shaw.
Well, these kegs are 53 pounds, and for Brian Shaw, not a problem. He sets the new fastest time. We thought Zydrunas Savickas was fast, but Brian Shaw, 20.75 seconds.
Well, you just knew he was going to go 100% after following Zydrunas and after having the little stumble on the first event. This guy's here for one thing and one thing only, and that is to win.
And he's standing by with Bill Kazmaier.
Brian, that was ridiculous. You beat an incredible performance with a spectacular performance.
Yeah, you know, keg toss is really good for me, and I trained it and trained it and trained it, and I trained it heavier than this and with a higher wall than this, so these felt like little baby toys to me. I'm really happy with this performance, and, you know, with a couple guys left to go, I'm hoping it holds up, and I'm pretty sure it will, so.
It was brilliant. Nice job.
Thanks, Kaz.
Mikhail Khalid picked up a second-place finish in the first event. Now, the Russian's going to have a hard time repeating that result here in the keg toss, with Shaw and Savickas putting up ridiculously good times.
Not only that, Ortmeyer's coming up, and he's amazing in this event as well.
Sending those kegs into orbit. Those are the 44-pounders, no problem. Now he moves on to the 48.5-pound kegs. And finally, the 53-pound kegs. So Khalid completes the entire rack of 8 kegs, a very impressive time. Any other year, he may win this event, but this year, that will be good enough only for third place for the time being. His time, 27.61 seconds.
He was rock solid the whole way through, just a little bit conservative, taking his time, pacing himself, making sure each keg went over on the first attempt.
Well, the final man in this competition will be Travis Ortmeyer of Texas. He is the overall leader thanks to his win in the loading race.
And Todd, one of my most impressive memories of Travis is him ripping this event in 2008.
Boy, this is going to be very close to Brian Shaw's time. Almost the exact same technique.
These things are just going into orbit.
On to the final kegs. These weigh 53 pounds.
Oh, he hesitated just a little bit before that 8th keg. That may have cost him the overall win.
Third place for Travis Ortmeyer. A very impressive time, but this year not good enough for the win.
And he's definitely a little dejected there, Todd.
Brian Shaw wins the keg toss. Zydrunas Savickas gets second. Another great showing for Travis Ortmeyer. Khalid and Peterson round out the top 5. Once again, Derek Poundstone has to be disappointed with his finish. Brian easily could be celebrating a second consecutive win, but seems content with capturing his first. The overall leaderboard has a tie at the top. Americans Ortmeyer and Shaw each have 18 points. Kukliaev is 2 back in third. Then it's Savickas in fourth. Irvin Katona is fifth. The athletes in 6th through 10th can't afford to drop too many more points. It's big, it's bad, and it's nasty. It's the giant log press. As the weight escalates, it becomes strictly about survival. We'll see it when we return to the Metrics World's Strongest Man. Welcome back to Sun City, South Africa for the Metrics World's Strongest Man Final. The third of 6 events, the giant log press for maximum weight has already claimed some victims. Nick Best of the USA surprised himself by pressing the 341-pound log, but went out at 374 pounds. His fellow American, Jason Bergman, was also successful at 341 pounds before bowing out at 374. Same story for Terry Hollins of England. 374 was just too much for the big Englishman. Irvin Katona of Serbia also went out when the weight went up to 374, and he couldn't get the lockout. American Travis Ortmeyer, tied for the overall lead prior to the giant log press, won't be there anymore. The American also went out at 374 pounds, but more problematically, injured his left ankle in the process. Stefan Solvi Peterson of Iceland was successful at 374, but at 390.5 pounds, it was just too much for the first-time finalist. He'll be rewarded with 5th place. Big Brian Shaw pressed the 390.5-pound log overhead, but the 407-pound log was just too much. Brian finishes in 4th. His countryman Derek Poundstone was successful all the way up to 407, but his luck changed when they moved the weight to 418. And Zydrunas Savickas, the defending champion from Lithuania, showed how it's done at 418. And what an effort to match that press. Mikhail Kukliaev couldn't get the lockout and then somehow managed to regroup, and ultimately he would get the lift. From 418 pounds, we move all the way up to 445.5 pounds for Zydrunas Savickas. And Phil, this is just a colossal task after already having successfully lifted over 1,900 pounds.
Colossal it is, but he is a colossus when it comes to the log press.
So this is 445.5 pounds for Zydrunas Savickas.
It's so easy for the big man from Lithuania. Big Z putting his trademark brute strength on display.
So now the ball is in Mikhail Kukliaev's court. Can he match Zydrunas Savickas?
Nearly 450 pounds. He makes it look so easy. I'm not sure anybody will ever match this man when it comes to the log press.
Well, that is the challenge now as Zydrunas Savickas looks on. It will be Mikhail Kukliaev. He'll be attempting to lift 445.5 pounds to keep this competition going.
If I was a betting man, I'd bet against him here after seeing him double take that last weight.
And he's got it. Kukliaev now pushes the bar even higher.
Where did that come from, Todd? I think Zydrunas is a little stunned as well.
Kukliaev successful at 445.5 pounds. Now, if Zydrunas can repeat here, he'll join a list of men that have won at least 2 consecutive titles. Bruce Wilhelm won the first 2. Bill Kazmaier was victorious from 80 to 82. Magnus Magnuson also won 3 in a row, and Mariusz Pudzianowski did it twice while winning his 5 championships. Back to the action. Zydrunas Savickas now attempting 462 pounds.
You know, not long ago, a log press 100 pounds less than this would have been world class. Oh my gosh, he just makes it look so easy, Todd.
462, and now Kukliaev must match him. That is just absolutely amazing.
You know, I think this may be the first time I've ever seen this man use any leg drive when it comes to pressing overhead. And it was minimal. I don't think he dipped more than an inch or 2, Todd.
All right, so it comes down to this. Mikhail Kukliaev has to match this, or the win in this event will go to the defending champion, Zydrunas Savickas.
Time starts now.
462 pounds. And the Russian just doesn't have the drive. Now he can reset.
We saw him do that on 418.
And it's just not happening today. An impressive performance by both men, but your winner, Zydrunas Savickas of Lithuania, the champion in the giant log press.
He just looks so casual after that win. These are the kind of weights this guy lifts on a regular basis. Khalid obviously ecstatic to have made it this far in the log press and pushed the big man in his signature event.
What an effort by both strong men. But Savickas gets the win in the giant log press for maximum weight with a lift of ridiculous 462 pounds. Khalid was next at 445.5. Poundstone was third. Brian Shaw picked up fourth. Peterson was fifth. And there was a five-way tie for sixth. Khalid's effort in the giant log press puts him into a tie for the overall lead with Shaw. Savickas moves up to third. Ortmeyer falls to fourth and is now dealing with an injured ankle. Our Bill Kazmaier is standing by at the next event, making its World's Strongest Man debut.
Todd, in the 21st century, you'd think we'd have machines to move insanely heavy objects. But no. In the whiskey barrel carry, we'll just have to rely on our strongmen to move these massive 792-pound loads. If the athlete's grip on the handle somehow holds, maintaining balance and momentum will be crucial. Every single muscle in the body will be taxed to their limits as the athletes power down the course for the quickest possible time.
For first-rate entertainment and sporting events. That includes the 2010 Metrics World's Strongest Man Final. It's out to the fourth of 6 events that will decide our champion, the Whiskey Barrel Carry.
This is a race. 20 meters down, make the turn, pick it up again, 20 meters back. Ultimately, what it comes down to here is grip strength.
American Travis Ortmeyer has injury concerns. He's standing by with Kaz.
Travis, you injured your ankle in the last event. How in the world are you going to carry these massive barrels up and back for 20 meters?
Just going to have to, do whatever you can do. It's World's Strongest Man. You give it everything you've got. You come to play. It doesn't matter what they throw at you or what happens to you.
The mind is strong enough to overcome the pain?
Something's going to happen. That's for damn sure.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Wisconsin's Jason Bergman is tied for 8th place overall after 3 events. Not much has gone right for a guy who was so impressive in the qualifiers. And Nick Best, also of the USA, is currently in 10th place. Like Jason Bergman, the 41-year-old Best is still looking for a bright spot in the final. And just to illustrate how difficult this event is, only one man has completed the entire course. That's Stefan Solby Peterson. He stopped the clock at 33.67 seconds.
But this is a great event for both of these guys, Todd.
And 792 pounds is very heavy. Jason Bergman finding that out right away.
Come on, Jason!
Best knocking out the first half of the course.
Come on, Jason!
And Bergman still just struggling to find his grip. Meanwhile, the 41-year-old Nick Best from Las Vegas is cruising down the course.
Really a rock-solid performance here. You gotta like it.
He's got to cross the entire line.
More! Yes!
And he stops the clock 33.32, so Nick Best of the USA now has the mark to beat. And meanwhile, Jason Bergman, he just says enough is enough. He'll currently go into 6th place in the Whiskey Barrel Carry. In addition to the most prestigious title in the sport, this is what the 10 athletes in the final are competing for. The champion will leave Sun City with $40,000. From Texas, this is Travis Ortmeyer, comes into this event in 4th place overall, but remember, he has a very severely injured ankle. And this is Zydrunas Savickas, the reigning champion, is in 3rd place after 3 events.
Ready!
792 pounds, not a problem for Zydrunas, but Travis really struggling with that injured ankle.
It'll be interesting to see what Zydrunas does here. His grip's sometimes a little bit off or on.
Really can be real deliberate now. He's got such a great lead over Ortmeyer, but remember, he's up against the clock. 33.32. Nick Best put that time up moments ago. And he's got it. 26.54 seconds for Zydrunas Savickas, the new time to beat.
Ortmeyer, a man with a great grip, I just wonder what in the heck's going on here. Why is he having so much difficulty with this whiskey barrel carry?
No issues for Zydrunas Savickas of Lithuania, currently the leader in the whiskey barrel carry. But for Travis Ortmeyer, just too much pain on that ankle.
I had no idea he'd injured himself so severely on the log press. I'm really shocked. Travis is so intense, he never gives up, and this guy's really got to be hurting. Zydrunas Savickas, on the other hand, rock solid and easy walk in the park from the big Lithuanian.
Russia's Mikhail Koklayev is serious about the sport of strength athletics, but is also a natural showman who loves to entertain.
Strongman sport, I feel it in my blood. Big, huge guys with great charisma. And people can feel this when guys angry and like lions, you know. Big body, it's like a great costume. Russians almost like big guys. It's serious motivation. I don't feel pressure. I'm like professional strongman. It's my business. I want title. I want to make strongman sport in Russia much popular. I can go in other towns, in other cities with this title and say, you can do it too.
Well, after 3 events, you have to say that Mikhail Koklayev has a realistic opportunity at the title. The Russian is tied for the overall lead after 3 events.
Yeah, he has a great contest so far, Todd.
And he'll be going up against Brian Shaw from Fort Lupton, Colorado. Somewhere in Brian's mind, he still has to be thinking about 2 points he lost in the loading race.
Ready?
792 pounds they're carrying.
Off to the lead.
Time to beat, 26.54, put up by Zydrunas Savickas.
Who's going to pick it up first here, Todd?
Both men being very deliberate on the regrip.
Almost a dead even race. That's a big opening for Shaw, and he drops 2.
Well, they're not going to beat Zydrunas Savickas. Here's Brian Shaw struggling to get to the finish line.
Oh, this is painful to watch. This is heartbreaking if you're rooting for Shaw. I can't believe his grip just isn't holding up.
And finally, at 40.05, Brian Shaw gets the whiskey barrels across the line. That means Zydrunas Savickas is your winner. That's 2 events in a row for the Big Z. And the points dropped here to Zydrunas could haunt both of these guys in the final heat. Koklayev was 5th with a time of 40.84. Shaw was 4th, 40.05.
Colin, I was ahead.
A really tough break for Shaw. He had a great opportunity to pull ahead and become the overall leader in the competition, but the grip strength just wouldn't hold up for the whiskey barrel carry.
At 26.54 seconds, Savickas was nearly 7 seconds faster than his closest challenger, Nick Best. A good performance for Stefan Solby-Peterson put him in 3rd. Shaw and Koklayev were 4th and 5th, respectively. So Savickas moves to the top of the overall leaderboard with 34 points. Shaw falls to 2nd with 32. Koklayev is another point back in 3rd. Then it's Ortmeyer in 4th. Peterson and Katona are tied for 5th. Then it's Best and Poundstone tied for 7th. Brian Shaw could be dominating, but a few mistakes open the door for Zydrunas Savickas. And now it's the defending champ who's in charge. We'll have more of the Metrics World's Strongest Man Final after this. The Metrics World's Strongest Man Final rolls on from Sun City with the penultimate event, the deadlift. With just 2 heats remaining in the deadlift, it's American Nick Best leading with 9 repetitions of the 781-pound card. Englishman Terry Hollands put up 8 reps, which has him in 2nd. Serbia's Irvin Katona is in 3rd, and a physically banged-up Derek Poundstone continues to struggle. Travis Ortmeyer's bid for the championship was probably derailed by the ankle injury he suffered at the giant log press, but the Texan is fighting on. And this is Mikhail Koklayev of Russia. He's in 3rd place overall and very much in striking distance of the lead. Just 3 points behind Zydrunas Savickas.
And our leader so far in this event, Nick Best with 9 reps. Both of these guys could possibly top that with 10 or more.
Well, it's amazing that Travis is still competing. Now he's at 3 reps with Koklayev.
Koklayev is such a beautiful deadlifter, such a technical deadlifter. Usually he gets the hips much lower in the deadlift. This is a little unusual for him. He's almost doing a stiff leg deadlift. Ortmeyer dropping the hips on the reps, using more of the leg. Koklaev really relying on the erectors.
Both men at 8. Now Koklaev is tied with Nick Best for the lead at 9.
And Koklaev looks bigger, stronger than I've ever seen him before, and I wonder if that has something to do with the change in his technique.
Koklaev has gone into the lead with 10. Remember, that's 781 pounds.
These guys are buddies to the end. Travis even named his son after Mikhail. I'm not sure who's more disappointed that Mikhail didn't pull 11 reps, Travis or Mikhail.
Travis currently tied for 3rd place in the deadlift, 8 repetitions. And Mikhail Koklaev, our current leader in the deadlift, 10 solid reps.
Well, both of those guys got to be really happy with those results. Travis, I'm surprised he did so well. He didn't get as many reps in the qualifier with the deadlift. And now in the final, it's even heavier. Koklaev, his size and power just keep growing.
This is Brian Shaw. He's in 2nd place overall, just 2 points behind Savickas. And the important thought here is not to lose any more ground with just one event left. Zydrunas Savickas, the defending World's Strongest Man champion, he can close in on title number 2 by defeating Shaw in this event.
Another great brute strength event. If there's any one classic brute strength event, this is it. And this is the kind of thing that is Big Z's specialty. You saw him really get pushed in the log press a little bit by Koklaev. It's starting to look like Big Shaw might be the man to push him in the deadlift.
Brian Shaw of the USA on the left. Zydrunas Savickas of Lithuania on the right, the defending champion. And that is 781 pounds.
Shaw is faster than Zydrunas. He's making this nearly 800-pound car look like a toy. The big baby, the big Shaw, the Colossus, El Gigante, the man from Fort Lupton, Colorado, said he was coming here to win World's Strongest Man, and he is walking the talk.
So both men even at 9. The reps to beat 10 put up by Mikhail Koklaev. And both men are there. So we have a 3-way tie at 10 reps. And Zydrunas goes deep to get number 11. And Brian Shaw answers.
Lift in your own time.
And it looks like there's still plenty of time left if either man can manage a rep.
And that's it. So we will end in a tie with Brian Shaw and Zydrunas Savickas both getting 11 reps. They will tie for 1st place in the deadlift.
He should be really happy about that, Todd. Not too many people on this planet can push the Big Z when it comes to brute strength. And we just saw the man from Colorado, Big Baby, Brian Shaw, do just that. Big Z's 11th rep, a real struggle. Right after that, Shaw answers with his own 11th rep. Both of these guys knowing each rep takes them that much closer to the title.
Zydrunas, we're not used to seeing you struggle. Brian pushed you rep for rep there. Tell us about it.
It was hard. I think it's hardest event. Big weight, a lot of reps. It was not easy.
You're taking a 2-point lead going into the final event. How do you feel?
It's good to go in the lead before last event. I feel good. I will fight.
Good luck to you. You look great.
Thank you.
So Savickas and Shaw share the win in the deadlift with 11 reps. Koklaev was 3rd with 7 reps. Best had 9 good lists for 4th. Hollins and Ortmeyer tied for 5th place. Zydrunas Savickas will take a 2-point advantage to the final event. Brian Shaw is in 2nd, but has a realistic chance of overtaking the Lithuanian. Mikhail Koklaev is in 3rd, Ortmeyer in 4th, and Best and Katona are tied for 5th. For more on the stakes as we head to the final event, here's Bill Kazmaier.
Todd, once again, the Metrics World's Strongest Man title comes down to our signature event, the Atlas Stones. After a grueling qualifying round and the heaviest and toughest final in history, this is where it ends. Will Zydrunas Savickas of Lithuania add a 2nd championship, or will the USA's Brian Shaw win his 1st? It's time for someone to step up and claim the title. When we return to Sun City, South Africa, one athlete will stand alone as the world's strongest man.
Welcome back to beautiful Sun City, South Africa for the Metrics World's Strongest Man final. We've reached our sixth and final event, the Atlas Stones. Zydrunas Savickas of Lithuania is the overall leader with 43.5 points. Brian Shaw is in second with 41.5 points. Now, the odds aren't in Brian's favor. He's not ready to concede anything. He's with Kaz.
Brian, you're chasing arguably the strongest man in the history of the sport into this final event. Can you make it happen?
Yeah, I think if anybody can, I can. You know, I mean, it's been a tight battle this whole final, and I've got the utmost respect for Zydrunas. You know, he's proved himself time and time again. This is what it's all about, and Stones is my favorite event. I'm going to bring it.
Best of luck.
Thanks, guys.
Travis Ortmeyer of Texas continues to gut it out in this final. His ankle injury has limited him, but he remains in fourth place in the overall standings.
And Todd, if there's one event he loves, it's this one.
You can't totally discount Mikhail Koklayev. The Russian would need a tremendous amount of good fortune to win the title. Realistically, he'll end up having a respectable third-place finish in his rookie campaign. Stefan Sylvie Peterson is having a great final. The young Icelander is leading the way in the Atlas Stones with just 2 heats remaining. The USA's Jason Bergman is in second place.
Ready?
First stone, 245 pounds, no problem for either man.
That first platform is really tall.
265, the second stone. Again, no problems.
As the stones get heavier, the platforms get just a little bit lower.
310 complete. Now we're onto the 360-pound stone. And look at Koklayev, already onto the final stone. That's 405 pounds.
And Ortmeyer just having a really tough time with that ankle.
And Koklayev gets it done. 39.83 seconds, all 5 stones. Meanwhile, Travis Ortmeyer, he may have gone as far as he can. And it's the Russian Mikhail Koklayev, currently in second place in the Atlas Stones. A gutty performance by the American Travis Ortmeyer.
Travis is always so incredibly intense. His buddy from across the Atlantic, Mr. Russia, Koklayev, having a great showing in his first ever World's Strongest Man final. You can bet we're going to see a lot more from this guy.
So it comes down to this. Zydrunas Savickas will repeat as champion if he finishes in the top 3 in the Atlas Stones or simply beats Brian Shaw in this head-to-head matchup. Shaw's at a disadvantage. To win the title, he must defeat Savickas by 3 places here in the Atlas Stones. That means if Shaw wins the event, Savickas must finish in 4th place or worse.
And that's a real possibility. Although both men are excellent with the stones, the slightest bobble from Zydrunas could be all the opening that Shaw needs to take the title.
This is just amazing, the speed that they're working at. And Shaw's got a window.
Yeah, this could be all it takes for the big man to pull away and win the whole thing.
He stops the clock at 27.11, but Zydrunas Savickas is right behind him. So Zydrunas Savickas is your 2010 World's Strongest Man. But a great showing by both athletes.
Very, very big mistake. Congratulations. Thank you.
Wow, what a moment. Big Shaw giving respect, showing power, grace, and strength. An act of total acknowledgement for this year's 2010 champion.
Shaw showed his heart, but it wasn't enough to stop Savickas from repeating. The runner-up is with Kaz.
Brian, great performance. You won the battle but lost the war.
Yeah, you know, it's a tough way to lose. You know, I mean, it really is. But at the same time, you know, I got my head up, and I'm walking away from this. I brought everything I could. I've got a lot of respect for Zydrunas, and you know, he got the win. That's the bottom line. I'll be back next year, and I'll be even bigger and even stronger and even faster, and you know, hopefully next year I can walk away with the first place trophy.
Well, great performance. We'll see you next year. Best of luck.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Brian Shaw did everything he could in the Atlas Stones. He recorded all 5 in 27.11 seconds. Peterson was second, and it was a clutch performance by Savickas to finish in 3rd. Bill Kazmaier's with the man who continues to make history, Zydrunas Savickas.
Zydrunas, tremendous victory. This is your second World's Strongest Man title. How do you feel?
I'm very happy. I won again the World's Strongest Man title. It's harder than first one because I was injured and I have to fight with one leg. It was so close. It was one of the hardest competition, but I won.
Are we going to be able to see you again next year to defend your title?
We'll see. I am 35 years old, but I still want to compete. I compete already 19 years in strongman sport, but maybe I want one more year.
Tremendous job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So it's Zydrunas Savickas and Brian Shaw finishing level on points, but the Lithuanian won the title based on the tiebreaker. Both men had 3 first-place results, but Savickas had a second place that Shaw couldn't match. Khalid finishes 3rd to round out the podium. Presenting the trophy to our champion is Shanshal Shada, Vice President of Metrics Asia Africa. Zydrunas Savickas waited for more than a decade to finally make the climb to the top of the podium, and now for the second year in a row, he is the Metrics World's Strongest Man. It's now time for our Metrics Brute Strength Award.
Strength may have many definitions and incarnations, but when it comes to absolute power and brute strength, this year's champion, Zydrunas Savickas, is the person who embodies it the most. He is the world's strongest man.
It didn't always look like it would be the case, but Zydrunas Savickas joined select company as a winner of multiple titles as the Metrics World's Strongest Man. For Phil Pfister and Bill Kazmaier, I'm Todd Harris.